And one of the biggest misconceptions is that you need to invest a lot of money to start your videography journey. And even when you start, there's so many creatives in the space already, why even bother? The best advice I can give anyone starting their videography journey is your why. If you're genuinely obsessed with learning the skill of video like I am, that's all the motivation you need. And if your biggest challenge is trying to figure out how you can afford this profession, today I'm going to share my story of how I started into filmmaking and the first gear setup I used to land my first paid client. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Teddy. I'm a cinematographer and founder of Capture My Culture Films, and I've created this 10-part series to share everything I've learned in my videography journey. Whether you want to get better at the craft or make this a profession, here's where I'll be your guide. Welcome to Kaizen culture. So I got my first paid project from a client that saw a recap video that I made of a community event. I shot the event using my DJI phone gimbal and an iPhone XS Max. So what ended up happening was that after I shot the event and I shared it on my Instagram, the funder of the event saw it and wanted me to create a video similar to that for her website. And to be honest, I didn't plan on shooting that event. I just so happened to have the gear in my bag, and I thought it would be nice to make a recap video for the agency I was working for at that time. Fast forward, this client has asked me to work on numerous projects that she had for her organization and her community. 3 events later, I was able to finance my first DLSR camera. Crazy how that started off with just my smartphone and some editing skills that I learned from an online course. Now, in my first video, I shared my first investment was $1,200. With that, I bought a laptop, a gimbal, and a Premiere Pro editing course program with Full-Time Filmmaker. You should be able to at least land your first paid client with the information I'm sharing today in this video and for future more to come. I suggest purchasing a gaming laptop with the following minimum specs: CPU Intel quad-core i5 or AMD octa-core Ryzen CPU. For random access memory, I recommend at least 16 gigabytes. I upgraded mine to 32 gigabytes. GPUs, I recommend the NVIDIA graphics card with a RAM dedicated of at least 4 gigabytes and a SSD storage of 512 on board. You can add a 1 to 2 terabyte external drive as you take on more projects. The gimbal I bought was the Ronin SC, which was priced around $300 when I first purchased it. As of right now, I would recommend the RS3 Mini, which I've used for many paid projects. The cool thing about this gimbal is that it works with smartphones as well as DLSR cameras. And eventually, you're gonna be purchasing one down the line, so you might as well make that investment in the first place. Now for audio, I recommend the new Rode mic that plugs directly into your phone for clean audio. You can also purchase a field recorder to capture ambient audio or plug directly into a sound mixer to get clean dialogue from a microphone. A bonus item would be a universal small rig cage with an SSD holder, which allows you to record footage directly on an SSD drive. So here's a BTS of a recent event I shot for a fatherhood organization. The client was giving a speech, so the main focus was creating a recap video that exhibited the vibe of the event, an overall theme of fatherhood. Capturing A-roll and B-roll. So there are 2 things you need to be sure to capture for any recap video. One is A-roll and the other is B-roll. It helps to have 2 cameras capturing both. I use a 2-camera setup for a majority of my paid work. For one, you need a main camera that tracks the subject and a roaming camera that can capture B-roll and the reactions of the attendees or guests. But for the purpose of this example, you should have this basic idea. The next thing that's important is capturing dialogue. Dialogue, I would say, is the second most important part of creating a recap video. Essentially, it carries the story. You can capture audio in 1 of 3 ways: miking the speaker, plugging into a speaker or a sound mixer, or mounting a field recorder near the speaker on a podium. You could also attach a recorder directly to the mic. In my example, I just placed a second phone close to the speaker with the voice memo app running. Try whatever works best for you while not being too intrusive. Capturing testimonials. Now, last but not least is capturing testimonials. If you're covering an event and you happen not to capture any speeches, a fail-safe is capturing testimonials. Without dialogue, you just have a montage of different activities, which might work. However, your audience might not have the context of the video, which is kind of the secret sauce for engaging recap videos. With all 3 of these, you can create an immersive edit that captures the view of your target audience, which is usually the end goal for most paying clients. Ultimately, they want to attract their target audience and get them to opt into whatever service or product that they're trying to sell. Now, how do you attract paying clients, right? And I think it's a combination of two things, offense and defense. So your work should speak for itself. And in order to achieve this, you need to create content that exists online in the form of a portfolio. So I recommend shooting at least 3 to 4 recap videos to start off with. Create a YouTube channel either with your name or your ideal brand name you want your style to represent. Use your current Instagram to post short form content regularly about your progress as a creative. You'll then be able to use those videos on your website when clients are asking for references of your work. Even better, you can look back at your progress and see how far you've come on your creative journey as a videographer. With all this being said, there's going to be one big challenge you're going to be faced with first, and that's imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is a psychological experience of feeling like a fraud despite the evidence of your ability and your accomplishments. It's characterized by self-doubt and the fear of being exposed as unworthy or incompetent. And if I didn't have confidence in my skill and recorded the event, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to network with her and get other opportunities in that space with nonprofit organizations. This is possibly the main challenge you'll need to overcome if you're deciding to pursue videography professionally. And there's only one remedy for this, it's repetition. You see, you have to put in the reps to become more proficient at any skill. You also have to be open to receiving constructive criticism from people that are further along in their journey. The best analogy I can give you about learning videography is someone who's unfit deciding to go to the gym for the first time. They're generally not confident seeing others who've progressed further in their fitness journey, and ultimately, they'll doubt that they could ever get physically fit. The secret is that everyone has started somewhere, and those who are further ahead just started before you did. Speaking from personal experience, I've secured big budget projects over tons of video production agencies because my work stood out, and I formed relationships with my past clients that could vouch for my work. So the lesson is that you're one connection away to making your way in your videography journey. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know what skills or value you're going to add to an organization or a person. So if you don't follow this journey, you're doing your community a disservice. And if I could encourage you to do anything, is at least learn this skill of video so that down the line you can create content for yourself, for your family, or just share your message to the world, which I think at the end of the day, everyone wants to be a part of something and mean something. Now in later videos, I'm going to share different ways and techniques how you can get better at the skill of video. However, this series should be a foundational understanding of editing, capturing, and delivering products of video for clients. If you're interested in one-on-one consultations, eventually I'm going to create a community where people can learn video and they can actually have someone they can work with directly to help them through the process. So even if you're starting your videography journey or you're an expert, you can connect with other people who need the support and you can give back in the form of video. In later videos, I'm going to get into details as far as how you can find clients, secure retainer clients, and possibly start your own video production company if that's something you're interested in. Until then, keep watching and keep creating. Peace.